If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Sal. Sal, I have seen you perform probably 3 or 4 times now, right?
Really?
Yeah. And one of the things that I always appreciate you when you're behind the drums is how interactive you are with the crowd and how, like, you have this demeanor about you that's just so much fun. Like, you don't take yourself overly seriously, even though you're the consummate professional. Does that make sense? Is that sort of like a philosophy of your life, is to sort of be that way? Yeah, I love it. It's like, because every time, like, I know your show, I'm going to laugh and I'm going to smile and people are going to have fun. That's what it's all about. How did you get started in music?
Well, it goes back to, it's a family thing.
Yeah?
My oldest brother played bass in a conjunto, a Mexican-style polka-type band.
Yeah?
And we would, my brother and I, he plays guitar with me sometimes. We had a little rock and roll band in junior high, and we'd go to their dances, the bailes, and we would play our their intermission, our little rock and roll during the dances. So there was hundreds of people there, you know. Say, oh, what's this stuff? You know, oh, rock and roll into this Mexican genre of music, and that's how we got started. So he played bass. I had an older brother, let me back up a little bit, named Joe. He was in the service, and he had, in the high school and junior high, he had rock and roll bands. What were they called? The Psychedelic Peacocks.
That's
it was
awesome,
the perfect name for that era.
Yeah.
In the 60s. And he was a drummer, and when he went to the Air Force, he left me his drums. And I picked him up and I started in school bands.
Yeah.
And I play guitar, bass, and a little bit of keyboards also. But I played guitar in church with my dad. My sister played piano. My other older sister, Rosa, she played guitar. And she played all those folk Joan Baez type songs on her guitar. I remember as a kid listening to her. And my little sister played piano. Anyway, my brother and I, we go back to, junior high days, 13, 14.
That's so awesome. Do you remember a time in that process of learning the drums where you're like, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
No.
See, and I love how humble you are, my friend.
When I started playing drums, there was like 8 drummers.
Okay.
And my drum instructor in school, and my drum instructor says, try this tuba on. I think it'd fit you just right because we need a big guy to carry this thing. I tried it, and I says, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I want to be a drummer, so I started junior high playing drums. I started before that, but I wanted to learn how to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so when you're in junior high school, you're sort of starting to play drums and stuff like that. Like, has it always been like a goal of yours to sort of be in a band environment?
Well, yes, because I was inspired by my brothers, and it just felt good, I was kind of a quiet person back then, actually. I think I was. But it developed my personality and being around people, I guess.
Right? But also, like, the idea of, because one of the things I like to talk to musicians about is people are under this misconception, if you're not, like, into music, that it's, you get up on stage, you play, and that's it. Like, no, there's a lot of work that goes into mastering of the drums and mastering of the guitar. Like, there's a lot of hours of practice. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes, but, overall you have to love it.
100%.
I don't practice as much as I used to.
But you don't have to, right?
It does come very natural now.
Yeah.
But, it was a time where I taught drums to children, younger kids, and I noticed, this guy's a natural. It makes me sick. I could never it took me a year to grasp what he's learned in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Some people just have it, and some people like myself are still working at it. There's still things I says, I wish I could do this better. And it does get better in time, but how old I am now, maybe I'll never master it, but still enjoy doing it.
And how'd you come up with the name the Salamanders?
Well, I did cable television for years. I climbed poles every day. Some people classified me as a lineman because I do a lot of the same work. And that's what I retired from over 20 years. There was this couple that I really clicked with that I did the installation for them. And their daughter, she was like 7 years old. I'm still in touch with her. And her mom said, "This is Sal." She says, "Salamander." So we became friends. And I'd always come over and visit. And she'd say, "Salamander's here, Salamander." And I went to karaoke with my son at this bar, and they had karaoke. He says, I was between bands and gigs and whatever, and I was sang up there, and I was approached by the manager, bartender. She says, "You're really good. Are you in a band?" I says, "No, I have been in bands before." She says, "Listen, we had a cancellation. Can you play here this weekend and put something together?" I says, "I could do that." She says, "Okay, great." And she says, "What are you going to call yourselves?" And I thought, "Sal and the Salamanders." She says, "Great."
And it's stuck ever since.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I've been in bands, lots of bands before that.
Yeah.
But the recent band that you're asking about, and I just keep it going. The members change from time to time, but I like to consider myself as the main drive because,
How has audience? So, like, if you were to look back from when you sort of began to where you are now, how has audiences changed over the years? Or have they, I guess I should say. Because I know, like, we're just now sort of, I think, I'm starting to see, as I go to more and more live shows, people are starting to come back from COVID. And crowds are starting to get bigger, in my experience.
That did put a damper on things.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little bit under the weather. I almost wore a mask today. I go, "Hey, that's funny. Just don't kiss me and you'll be all right." But I think they've been pretty close to the same all these years. I love it when the younger generation are so inspired by what I do, knowing that, rap's out there, hip hop and a lot of country, and they still feel the vibe. It makes me feel good.
And I love the music that you choose to put out there as well, because it lends itself to dancing and movement. And what is that like when you're on stage and you see a bunch of people just get up and start to dance to your music?
It's like you're joined together.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes their vibe, their spirit kind of hits me, and it even makes me feel it better to even play it better and be more the inspiration. A thing I say is, we play what we like to play.
Yeah.
And hope you like it. A lot of bands follow the genre. They'll like this song. Let's play to this crowd. You notice our music variety is really big.
Yeah, it's very diverse. I love it.
Yes, and I try to keep that. Like, I let the guitar player do the songs he likes to. I learn his songs, and he learns my songs. And this blend we have now, the Salamander 2.0, so to speak, I really like the feel of it. Not that I haven't liked the past, but it's something new and refreshing.
Yeah. And I think it says something like if you are on stage and you love the music that you're playing it shows in the music that comes from you, I think. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah, I do see it, right? Like, and like even in the last show that I saw of yours, like just those kids that were dancing in the front. I was like,
outdoor shows.
like, oh man,
The dogs, my dog's right here.
yeah. And so, in terms of like learning the drums, though, what was the biggest challenge for you?
Singing and playing drums.
Oh, that's impossible for me. I can't even possibly imagine like singing and playing drums at the same time.
I told you that I play guitar and bass also.
Yeah.
I could play guitar, strum some chords and sing also, but playing bass and singing, no, I just can't. I can't go boom, 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 and sing. It just seems so off to me.
Well, because you have to kind of focus. Like, so let me ask you this: like, in terms of the band, right? Who's the one responsible for the timing of it? Because a lot of people are under the impression the drummer is the one that's always in charge of the timing.
Well, that's what they say. But I have the guitar player count off the songs he's going to do to see what time. And I try my best. I'm not a perfectionist at this. And I get joked at about it sometimes too. I'm too fast, I'm too slow. Because sometimes I get kind of excited.
Yeah.
Too fast. But overall, I try to keep the beat. But, I usually count off the songs. But it's not always the drummer. It's up to the whole band to keep the time.
And that's kind of where I'm going, right? Is that I want people to understand like this, the band in a way, I always view of it as sort of like a living thing, because you have three people with three different personalities, all focusing on a different aspect. At the same time, there's a collectivist attitude that needs to happen because you're all keying into each other. There's all kinds of like unwritten, unspoken signals and all of this stuff going on behind the scenes that if you're not paying attention, you miss all of those subtleties that comes with a live show.
It is a magic, and I like the feeling of a three-piece. You're connected much better. As we're a bigger band, you could just slack off a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's another thing about our music is I like our sound because we don't play cover songs just like cover songs.
Yeah.
A bunch of bands play it to the note, and turn on the radio for that, turn on your stereo for that. We put our own feel in it, which generates our sound. And as you were saying about people dancing and the timing, sometimes I pick up the song on purpose because I see people, getting into it. They want to jump, they want to go faster.
And so you're matching the timing with the feel and vibe of the crowd.
Yeah, it all just happens. It's not planned or nothing.
And no two shows are ever going to be the same.
No
Yeah.
songs. We don't play every song the same. We have that. We could put our own feel into it. We always put our own feel into each song. I go, oh, he played a different lead there a little bit. I hit a different drum beat there. It works for me, works for them. Makes it fun.
I appreciate it as an audience member as well. Like I kind of have that sort of feeling with you, right? Like if I want to listen to this song that exact particular way, I'll just go listen to the album.
Yeah, and there's cover bands,
Yeah.
Tribute bands, they have to play. That didn't sound like I remember, right?
Yeah.
We're not a tribute band whatsoever, or a cover band, really. But you were saying about the response with the audience. I'm losing my thought. I played the music last night. My voice is still a little hoarse. Where was I going with this? I don't know. Next question, please.
You got it. We were just talking about like how you feed off of the crowd and maybe even change. So like so let's say you're in front of a live studio audience, not studio audience, but live audience, and you recognize like one song is hitting more than some others. Would you change even your playlist as you're playing to feed off
we
the?
will.
Yeah.
And we play off the crowd like that. Like we do some. With the recent members, we do some Pink Floyd songs, and they're kind of just cool and groovy. And sometimes a dancing crowd, that won't be a song to throw in there for a dancing crowd.
Yeah.
Even though I took some of them, like, we don't need no edge. Guys, let's just pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Make them dance more to it. I know it's a little faster than what it's supposed to be, but it makes it more lively. And it worked. But you have to read the crowd. Yeah, of course, you know. And that's versus 2-hour shows to 3 or 4 hour shows. We could get away with, you know, throwing something like that in. Well, it's a 2-hour show. We want to give them our best stuff and keep them dancing for 2 hours.
Do you prefer like a 2-hour show versus like a 4-hour show?
Oh, yes. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
4 hours is real tough.
It's a grind.
Yeah. Well, that's where we throw in songs that we don't know 100% and just kind of feel them for, you know, almost like a rehearsal thing, you know.
Yeah.
Remember we did this song? Yeah, let's just try it right now. The crowd's a little mellow right now. We might be able to fit that in. And we'll pick it up with a good song after that, and it'll be excused, and it'll be all right.
I love that. And then you brought some instruments today, you said, right?
I brought a instrument.
A instrument. What is that?
It's a cheap Asian-made tambourine with a little sheepskin. Maybe that's imitation too. And just to keep my timing, they say it's not the instrument, it's a musician.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little story. It's funny. I went to a bar one time. I wasn't playing there. But I kicked it off with the bartender, and there was this old guitar in the corner, and somehow she got the word I played in the band. She goes, "You play in the band? You can sing?" I says, "Yeah." I said, "I could even play a song on that guitar over there." The guitar was turned backwards, so I couldn't see the strings. But the guitar had, she says, "If you play a song on this guitar, I'll buy you a drink." I says, "Okay." So she brings the guitar, and it has like one string on it. It's an acoustic guitar. And I said, "Okay." So I picked up the guitar, and I started thumping on the guitar string, and I hit the body of the guitar like a drum.
Yeah.
I started singing, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah." And I don't remember what song I sang, but it was funny. She goes, "I owe you a drink." And I was just beating on it. Back to what I was saying, you know, it's not the instrument, it's the musician. And I wonder, you know, not to brag, but I got a couple of gigs by saying that to the bar owner. So I said, "Let me just sing you an a cappella song, show you what I do."
Yeah.
And I got booked. I go, "Yes, great."
That's so awesome.
But that's why I just brought this to keep me timing, you know.
So, like, in terms of like those kind of things where you've got up there and sing a cappella, like, how did that thought come into your thought process? Because I know a lot of musicians who would have never thought to try that in order to get a gig, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I just walked tomorrow. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot in your personality.
Yeah.
It's willing to do that, you know. Yeah. I mean, I go see bands and solo acts, and they don't even interact with the crowd. This is a song by. I like to keep it happening, which I adapted to my work. You know, I dealt a lot with people.
Yeah.
And I had to present myself as I knew what I was talking about, you know. Oh, if you buy this, you know. I wore a tie at one of my gigs. I sometimes do this. Is, "You dress like you could sell me a car or something," you know. But anyway, interacting with people and talking to them, trying to sell them over and be friendly. You know, it's not fake. It's my personality, which made my job more comfortable when I felt at ease with a customer. But yeah, you just have to do that.
But Sal, you're selling yourself short, and here's why. Not a lot of musicians are as humble and as laid back and welcoming, right? And so I just wanted to acknowledge that about you as a human being, right? Because when you go to your shows, you're very warm, inviting, and welcoming. And some musicians are not that way. And one of the things that I always say, before you come on to my podcast, you have to be kind. And so I always appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because like even at the jams, right? Because I saw the one time it was you at the jam in West Salem, and just how you interact with other musicians. Like, you're not telling them what they did wrong, you're not correcting, like, no, you're encouraging, you're like, yeah, that was awesome. Like it's a more of a sense of community, and I love it when musicians have that mentality because it's so needed.
I've always tried to be an inspiration to other musicians. I've given away drums before when I see a spark in their eyes, said they want to do this. I've given guitars away. I've given tambourines to people in the audience. Can I have this? Yeah, I think I paid a couple bucks for it at the Goodwill. Keep my little instruments I pass in the crowd, going. Sometimes they get broken. And yeah, I like to inspire. Thanks for your kind words, but I guess I don't take like you said, I don't take myself really seriously because I like people and I like to entertain.
And it shows, right? It shows in the music. I always just have had a huge fondness for musicians that have that approach, because like the more we can inspire the younger generation to get involved in music and to sort of get that, embrace that sort of step, the more likely it is this music is going to stick around. Like, we need that sort of inspirational sort of like, hey kid, get up on stage and let's support you, because, life would be miserable without music. Miserable. Like, I couldn't even imagine my life without music.
True. Yeah. And it's bred into me, I guess.
Yeah.
It's passed it on.
Yeah.
I mean, my nephews, my son, it's all passed on.
Are they all in bands and music and all that stuff? That's so awesome.
I have a very accomplished nephew, Robert, who played at Dante's last night in Portland. And we were going to go to the show, but, life happens. And some other nephews that are up and coming. Did you see my nephew that came up and played intermission when you see me last time?
Yeah.
He played his guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. He, like, I used to play an intermission for my brother.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, pass on the...
Oh, and I like that too, right? Like, that's something you don't see a lot either, where people are playing something during the intermission or the break.
Most people just play music. But,
yeah. But you lose. And what I've noticed too, and it's so with my extreme pattern recognition and autism, one of the things that I have noticed time and time again is a lot of people leave during the break. And if you don't have something like that to where somebody gets up on stage and plays and sort of keeps people interest, people will leave.
Yeah. I like to try to talk to as many people as I can when
Yeah.
I'm intermission, keep it going. Sometimes I give little trinkets to them. I'm all out, but I have these little rubber salamanders I used to hand out to people.
That's so awesome.
I gotta reorder those because they're fun. They go, oh, a little souvenir. Little salamander. I remember those guys from last night.
And
that's besides selling T-shirts and hoodies and stickers. Keep the
band, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to circle back to, because you said you were a drum instructor for a while.
I've taught a handful of kids drums on the side.
What was that like?
Well, it was, I developed my own technique after a while. This one particular kid, his dad saw me play in my band. He says, can you teach my son drums? I said, let's schedule a time. It wasn't like a big advertisement business thing.
Yeah.
I just do it here and there. And, I played my guitar for him to follow time after a while. Because he didn't want to practice beats all by himself at home. So I came up with this method, and he really liked it. And his dad come in and be like a band jamming. And I use that technique with my own grandkids sometimes too, to help them, keep the time and play music that way. There's another kid who was an accomplished pianist. His mom wanted me to teach him how to play drums. And the same type of method.
That's awesome.
Just try to make it fun. They didn't learn techniques, rudiments as to be taught when you learn how to play drums. But I taught them the feel of it for them to create from there.
And I think that's an important piece too, because like there's a lot of feel when it comes to music. And I always appreciate musicians that play with a feel more than, well, I shouldn't say more than the technicians, because sometimes the technicians, like the band Tool is full of technicians and the best guitars and drums on the planet. But I also love live music that is not in chase of perfection technical, but a feel and sort of diversity that sort of, like you were saying, feeds off the crowd. It's just a different kind of experience. So like, in your eyes, because like one of the things too is like, if you're talking to somebody who is sort of wanting to get into music, what would your advice to be for people who are thinking about it?
Take it as far as your dream takes you. Sometimes it fades, sometimes it keeps you going.
And don't give up, right?
Don't give up unless you're ready to give up.
That's fair. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of like folks that want to come to a jam, right? So like you were saying, like with the different musicians coming off and coming on, is there something that people should know about attending a jam or before they attend a jam session?
No, a jam session is kind of like karaoke.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get real bad musicians in there that just want to play the little heart out with what they know and what they do, and that's welcomed. I took advantage of some jams to like acquire my new guitar player. I heard him, we talked. What are you doing in music? I'm looking, you're looking. Let's collaborate, just try to get something together. It's a great thing, jam sessions are.
And so when you go to these jam sessions, and one of the things that I've always been inspired by is that even if you're a beginner, they welcome you up on stage.
Some of them do.
Some of them do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes they, oh no, here comes so-and-so, he wants to play.
Mm-hmm. But do you see sometimes like the progression? Like, have you ever been surprised, like so-and-so is here, but then he gets up and says, oh, he's getting better.
Yes, yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And I certainly welcome that because it's a good inspiration to see them like that.
When sometimes like it's the only place for people to get practice in a band situation.
Right. Sometimes they're not looking for a band; they want to feel,
Yeah.
Be playing with other musicians. Yeah.
And then when it comes to your live shows in particular, how do you want the audience to interact?
Interact how?
With you on stage.
I want them to hate me and throw things at me. Well, we always want them to like us. I always say, if you like our music, please let the management know. Maybe we'll come back again. That's one of my lines I use with, I mean it,
Well, is that important for people to let the restaurant or bar or whatever it is you're playing to know how much they enjoyed themselves?
They usually give them their feedback. I mean, a lot of times they'll give them their feedback, but I like to encourage that.
Yeah.
It's like my tip jar. If you like what you heard,
Yeah.
Aside from my latest pitch, where I say, we're trying to get a ride home. When does the next bus come? It's part of my humor,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I say, you guys are really good. And I go, he gave us a 20. Wow, that's great.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that too. Like, there's a huge discrepancy in how much people think bands make on a gig and how much bands actually make on a gig.
Excuse me.
No problem. And just how important that tip jar is.
It is very important. And we know that some clubs, the clientele doesn't tip at all. And some clubs tip very well. And since we don't get paid that much, every little bit helps.
Yeah, because it's not like you're in a vacuum, right? You have guitars that you have to pay for, drums that you have to, like, all of these things cost money to maintain and upkeep, like gas, all that stuff. So it's like anything you can do to support your local musician. If you have an extra $5, please throw it in there, because they're sacrificing so much for you to enjoy your show. Like, what's the hurt? Like, just, I know it's like some people complain we tip too much. There's 3 people that you have to tip: your bartender, your band, and the person that works in the coffee shop. Just tip them. They deserve it.
Oh, I even tip the bartenders, you know. They
Yeah.
buy me my drink, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where it's a thankless job that a lot of people don't appreciate. Like, I was at a bar, I won't say the name of it, the other day for live music, and they only had one bar back, and they were struggling to keep up with all the people in there. And I'm like, oh man, that poor girl, because you know that she's probably not getting a lot of tips because people are upset they're waiting so long, but she's trying to handle 40 people by herself. Like, no, she needs more
I
tips.
see that a lot too.
Yeah. And do you get a lot of interaction with the wait staff while you're on stage?
Sometimes, like you said, sometimes they hire too many bartenders and it's a slow crowd and then they get sent home, or else they get to come and enjoy the music.
Yeah. And so what's next for you?
As far as next performance?
Yeah.
Oh, or life in general.
Both.
Performance, we're back at in Monmouth. You know, I grew up in Independence. So Monmouth has always been a dry town, but it hasn't been for the last few years. And that's where I saw you last, I believe.
Yep.
Outside setting. It's called Dry Town Bar and Grill. It's a real fun place because, again, it's outside. It's family friendly. Bring your dog, bring your kids. And sometimes they set up the fire pit if it gets a little chilly. But that's my next gig, and it's 2 hours. June, what are we in? May. Oh. May 31st, 7:30 to 9:30. And we'll be there, and we'll have special guests. You know, that's one thing I like to do. Not a lot of bands do that. I always continue bringing special guests in on stage with me. And I'll go to bands, and sometimes I feel like singing, and I'll say, well, maybe they'll have me sing, come up and do a song. No, our band doesn't do that. Okay. But my band does.
Yeah.
If you're a friend of mine, last time we played up in West Salem, I had some real fine musicians come up and join me. I go, come on, please do a song with me. And they had fun.
That's awesome.
I like to do that. I had this girl named Sherry plays with the band a long time ago. She would, when she first got started playing back in the music, she'd follow us every gig. She'd do a few songs, and Jesse DeVille, he'd come up and do whole nights with us for a while. And anyway, many more. We'd like to give them that opportunity to shine, perform, especially since they're not playing. So that's the answer to your question. Monmouth, May 31st, Saturday, fun place. I'll post my June calendar soon.
So in terms of like when you have special guests and stuff like that, which is awesome, do you like search people out, or you just kind of see who shows up and like, hey, come on stage? how does that part work?
Sometimes I invite them previously. Sometimes they just show up. If you didn't happen to bring your guitar, you want to play a couple songs on the drums? Sure. It's quite a surprise when they show up and they, unexpected. Like, hey, let's play some music.
Yeah. I always appreciate that. So sometimes, like, when I go to shows now and other musicians will show up, I'm always surprised. Well, it's like, I thought you might have a gig tonight, but like, okay, you're here. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you grew up in the Monmouth area back when it was like a dry county?
Yeah.
That must have been a wild mind trip to have it not be dry anymore.
I didn't know I was too young to drink.
That's fair.
Moved to Salem and finished school there in '72.
Okay.
Met a lot of musicians there.
Yeah.
Like, wow, it's a big town.
Has the music scene sort of grown or sort of stayed kind of like the same size in Salem over the years?
It's always growing. Yeah.
Are there any up and newcomers that you've seen recently where you're like, oh, I'm going to pay attention to this cat?
Just for my own personal stuff, I there is, but not to inspire me to play what they play.
No, but I mean, like,
music's inspirational to me.
Yeah.
A lot that I like.
And I appreciate how diverse your musical taste is too, because at your show, like, some of the songs were totally like unexpected.
Yeah,
yeah.
That song particularly.
The Pink Floyd was the one that sort of really threw me for a loop. Yeah, I was.
Like 3 people do that, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly my thought. Like, how do you do this number with 3 people?
People say that to us about Santana,
Yeah.
Congas, timbales,
Yeah.
drums, keyboards, 3 people.
But you pull it off.
Throw one flair in there.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think in that situation, correct me if I'm wrong, the bass player has to pick up some guitar riffs on that too, right?
Yes, and our guitar player, when we play some Doors song, he throws in the keyboard notes in there. I go, that sounds like the old keyboard from the Doors.
Yeah.
The notes, you hit them just right. I go,
it's amazing.
These guys are amazing.
Yeah. It's some of the sounds that come out of guitars just like blows me away.
Oh yeah, like the Pink Floyd, like those pedals,
Yeah. It was awesome. Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
I got no feedback on that before. You're the first.
Yeah.
But I like the way it sounds. So.
It's cool. And it's so sort of out of left field, right? Because you would never expect a 3-piece to try and song like that.
Right.
It was like, how? So do you all rehearse a lot?
No. At the most, maybe once a month.
So how do you get that Pink Floyd sound? Is that something you've been working on for a while?
No. The guitar player brought it to our attention. He played it, and we rehearsed it a few times.
Yeah.
And just kind of went with the flow. We all knew the song, and we all put our own 2 cents worth in there. I mean, I don't play the drums just like the record,
Yeah.
I go, this song's missing this. I got to throw this a little bit more liveliness, because sometimes the drums are just too boring. I like to spice it up a little bit.
I appreciate that too, because there are some times with some drummers where they stay in that boring space. It's like, you could like oomph it up a little bit. And I appreciate it when they do. Yeah.
Even though that's not on the record.
But it's a live show where you're like, it's not like you were saying earlier, right? I'm always disappointed when people expect that, right? So you don't go to a Salamanders show to listen to the perfect rendition of Pink Floyd. You go to the Salamanders show because they play Pink Floyd as part of their set, and it's different and it's unique. And I'll take different and unique over the exact same thing any day. It's so much more fun.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Try to make it that way.
And then the other thing that surprises me about you, sort of to deviate from music, is how often you go fishing.
I need some coffee. On the way here, I thought maybe after my interview, I'm gonna go fishing. my car is full of my equipment from last night. Let me take a sip of this. Thanks for the coffee, by the way.
Of course.
Can't show the advertiser. 'Cause I'm not getting no credit. But how often? I've never fished as much as I have all my life since I became retired.
Yeah.
That was my goal. Play more music, go fishing more.
And
my wife and I, all the kids are gone, and we're even gonna. We've even been talking about selling the farm the last couple of years. Still in the process of cleaning it up because we want to get a little 2-bedroom house, and we don't have so much upkeep.
yeah.
We have some acreage up on that little hill, a little paradise there. It's going to be sad when we leave it, but we'll be able to breathe a little more. But how often do I go fishing is your question. I used to go salmon fishing all the time, bring home lots of salmon. Now it's little trout fishing that does it for me now.
I'm still amazed though, because like I've gone fishing like a few dozen times in the last few years. I never catch anything. What the heck are you using to catch as many fish as you catch?
Every lake is different.
That's fair.
Yeah, sometimes you need a 4 or 5 foot leader, and you have to put this much weight and fish at the bottom. And, you only need this much. You need this kind of bait. I just try to keep tabs on what pond got stocked recently. It's like fishing in a barrel, Hey, I caught all my fish in a couple hours. I'm going home. That wasn't very much fun. Maybe I'll take the barb off my hook and just catch a whole bunch of them. I like the feel of it.
Yeah.
Nothing like salmon fishing or deep sea fishing. It keeps me going because I've liked to do that since I was a kid.
I always I have a love-hate relationship with fishing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I love fishing. I hate the aftermath.
Oh.
I know.
Well, I share the cleaning with my wife, but she does it most of the time. She says, I grew up with fish, and my dad would go fishing and deer hunting.
Yeah.
So I ate that all my life. She says, cleaning fish is no biggie. She says, you catch them, I'll clean them. I said, okay. My puppy wants to say hi.
Hi.
We have Gracie in the audience today, in the studio.
I always used to have to make that deal with my dad. As my dad was like, "Do you want to go fishing?" I was like, "Only if you clean it, Dad." So I'm not going unless you clean it.
Some people don't even like to put bait on the hook.
I can't do
Live
it.
bait,
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm one of those
Our bait's just
people.
a little-
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But I can't do like worms and stuff like that. I just feel weird and I feel kind of guilty.
Well,
Yeah. I don't know if that's the Buddhist in me or what, but
as a child, I saw my mom wring the necks of chickens,
yeah.
cut them up on the chopping block. Just didn't bother me.
That's awesome.
I catch bullfrogs and bring them home and cook them up. But my mom caught us cooking them in the kitchen one time. Said, get that out of here.
But that's
And a
not
little
bad
fire
food.
Outside, a little chicken. This is frog day steaks. Like,
But they're not bad. The frog's not bad.
Oh, you don't buy?
Yeah, frogs doesn't taste that bad.
You've had it.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be way less adventurous about food until I hosted a radio show about restaurants. And I would go into restaurants and the chef would like present the wildest, strangest thing on the menu. And I was like, I guess I have to start trying this stuff now. And then joke's on me. It was actually really good.
Alligator is on my bucket
Oh,
list. Still haven't tried it. So this is two places in Portland to try it. I said, what's on my bucket list?
It's so hard to find. So deep fried gator tail is actually my favorite thing on the entire planet. I love it. And when I was in Seattle, there was like one restaurant that I knew that did have it. And so I would drive like an hour and a half one way to go to this one restaurant to have gator tail. And
Lucky you.
you can't find it here.
This is Gracie.
Oh,
One of my dogs.
she's cute.
My fishing dog. She just sits right by me when I'm fishing.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
She's so good too.
I had a service dog. He passed away like 6 months ago. And he was the same way. Like you could bring him into a restaurant and sit him next to the seat and he would just sit there.
That's his job.
Yeah, he was the best dog ever.
Just raise him with love.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if this new dog I got is going to even come close. He's not the...
I watch a lot of those gator shows on TV.
Yeah.
And they catch those gators and stuff. It's one of my things I like to watch sometimes. I want to taste them. I used to tell my wife, I want to wrestle one sometime. I'm a little old now, but that would be fun.
Well, I think they have those in Florida where you can actually wrestle an alligator.
Well, I don't want to do it now.
Oh, neither do I.
It crossed my mind. I said, oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and the Noble Wave used to have gator tail on the menu. I don't know if they still do.
Is that in town?
Yeah, right downtown Salem.
I just gotta check it out sometime.
Yeah, but then again, that's Salem, so it's kind of a hike from McMinnville, I would imagine.
Oh, I go to Salem all the time.
That's fair.
That's nothing.
Yeah. And so we're winding down here. We only got a few minutes left. Were there any sort of albums or musicians that you knew growing up that sort of inspired you?
Personally, or just overall?
Yeah, personally.
Well, I really liked the Santana sound.
Mm-hmm.
That was passed down from my siblings, my older brother and sister. You know.
Yeah.
We got into Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, to them, and Santana, Cheech and Chong. They were a big inspiration with my humor, but I've had so many. Doobie Brothers, Deep Purple. I could name so many.
Yeah.
Steely Dan, that was so inspirational to me.
I appreciate that. And so I guess we'll close with this because it's important for people to hear, and I close it with this every single time.
You didn't want me to sing you a song?
Please. I didn't even know that was a possibility, my friend.
Well, after singing last night, my voice is gone, and I feel like I'm coming down with a bug. But I just brought this tambourine here.
Yeah.
I don't need, a whole lot of money. I don't need a big fine car. I got everything that a man could want. I got more than I could ask for. Anyway, continue. Tingles on records on for the shelf. I didn't listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same sound. I got that old time of rock and roll. And let me throw it in. What else can I sing?
La Bamba.
And I'm losing my voice. La 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 la. Oh, Black Betty, bam lamb, lady had child, bam lamb, that thing I'm wild, bam lamb. Look at that thing, Lord, she makes me sing. Yeah, yeah. I sing better on stage because my voice is not like this. Not like that. My highs are gone, my lows are gone, and I am gone. That's just a little bit of what I do. G-L-O-R-A, Gloria, shadow night. I shout it every day. So many songs I had in my mind to sing for you, but it's just what came off the top of my head. But thanks again for the coffee.
No, thanks for the interview. This has been great. This has been great. Sal, please don't ever change.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you all get a chance, check out Sal and the Salamanders. It's a great show. And like I said, I end the show the same way every time. Just be kind, y'all. Like, we share the air. We share the same air. We share the same space. And this world is just a better place if you're kind to one another. Sal, thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Have a good day, y'all.